Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where last episode we failed this several times. And to be honest, I think the reason isn't exactly our fault. We've got everything that we need at this point. It just needs to actually happen. And that's a problem that I've been having with this game, certainly, is that some things just take a very long time for the citizens to get around to actually doing. So that's the issue up here. We want to get these Sawyers online very quickly. I think what we should do right now is we should probably halt these houses for now. Let's halt this house and this house as well. And let's see what that does. We just need to find the correct balance here, right? So we currently have the wages down at minimum and we have the taxes up at maximum. We can't get that any higher. So we're making some money. That'll boost our prosperity somewhat. Our primary issue here with our this is at -5 for profit and loss right now. That would boost us up to 31. And then if we got +5, that would put us where we wanted to be. So profit and loss, that's the only thing that really needs to be adjusted here, I feel like. Okay, so we're going to proceed here. I don't expect this to be a successful attempt. We need to get these things actually built as soon as possible. The cotton weavers have been built very quickly. Okay, now the Sawyers are done. So now I want to enable these houses kind of one at a time. So let's get this house built. Okay, so that one's built. Now this one. And let's get this one built as well. We need to get these Sawyers actually populated. And there we go. The Sawyers are now actually working. So let's do something like that and see what that does. I don't know. We don't have a lot of time, right? We don't really have a lot of time to get that going. So our levies were sent. Sure, that's fine. Our prosperity continues to sit at 26. It takes a very long time for that to update. I might just declare victory and move on. Because honestly, I feel like we're in a situation right now where if the timer didn't exist, and we made no other changes, we just let the game run beyond the timer. Like, if the way that the timer was implemented was that you can only take actions up until the timer expires, and then after that the game runs, and if you achieve the goals, you win. If that's the way it worked, which is a very dumb way for it to work, but if that's the way that it worked, I feel like we would win at this point. It's just a matter of time and letting our people execute what they need to execute. So, I mean, that's reasonably fine. We can check in over here and see what these need. Access to a sweeper. I feel like there's a sweeper nearby, right? Yeah, there's one right there. So this needs access to more clean water. Is there a well dipper around here? I don't actually know. There may not be a well dipper here. We can put one in. So a well dipper we can put in here or over this way. I'll do it here. So that seems reasonably fine. And these Sawyers are actually, you know, producing things. Now, as far as our war canoes lacking weapons go, look at this. We've got 12 weapons sitting here, and we've got 11 weapons sitting here. So that's 23 weapons, which is enough to consider this good, but they're just not delivering it. Like, this one doesn't exactly reach. I get that. But this porter stop absolutely reaches this war canoe wharf and just can't be bothered. So with that in mind, this well dipper being here is absolutely a thing. Ambience is holding it back. Okay, so our prosperity is currently 27, but like I said, I'm pretty sure that at this point we would be fine. I do want to... Okay, we are set to export some weapons here. Our levies have returned. But see, this is one of those situations where we've got a good amount of timber up over here. It's just taking and we've got timber here as well, although I think that's earmarked for export. No, it's just accepts. But it's taking a very long time for these blade nappers over here to actually get built. I do think we have a shortage of timber still, to be clear. I don't think that's just a delivery issue. So enemies are on the march. I'm going to ignore that for now. We still haven't built this cotton weaver over here either. Okay, so where is this? This is going to be up over here? Sure. So we're going to rally our troops out over this way. And they'll arrive over here eventually. Okay, they took a very long time to get here, but there we go. Enemies beaten. Excellent. Why don't you guys head on home? We're going to lose this shortly, but once again, we're in this situation where a lot of things here just didn't get built. Now, yeah, you have nowhere to deliver your timber because this porter stop didn't get built. All it needs is timber. So I'm wondering about delivery out over here. There's a possibility. This is tribute timber. This accepts timber here. Maybe this should be set to getting timber. That's probably the issue up over here. As far as this goes, I don't have any explanation for why this doesn't get built. And yeah, we're going to get kicked out at that point. So let's come back in over here. And we know that we made a couple of changes. Specifically, I delayed these houses, and that definitely seemed to work, delaying these houses. I'm going to set this over here to getting timber instead of accepting. Because, yeah, it can accept from these, but there's a lot of places these can deliver. I want to make sure that timber is coming up over this way, right? That is of utmost priority. I also want to put in that well dipper up over this way, so we'll get that put in right at the beginning. And if we need to go back to an earlier save, we can. But I would prefer not to. I'd prefer to just do this. So all of that gets built up, right? That's all well and good. And actually, these blade nappers out over here, maybe they should be halted as well. I don't know, maybe not. The order that they build these things in seems relatively random, though. Because now we haven't built these sawyers yet. We also haven't built the well dipper, so I can't make the argument that perhaps it's because of the well dipper. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Still no sawyers. Yeah, our levies were sent. We'll be attacked right at the end. Maybe we don't even care about getting attacked at the end. I don't know. I definitely care about the fact that we're not building those sawyers. So this porter stop over here did get built. So I think it's clear that this being set to getting does help. So we'll get those going, but this out here, this is now a bit of a problem. And maybe the issue there is that the timber is being prioritized now to coming down to this porter yard. I mean, that's a possibility. Enemies are on the march. That's to be expected. We have so much left undone at this point, but our prosperity is at 30 out of 35 this time. Let's check in on the status of our weapons. So we have 5 weapons here. We're not delivering any weapons to this war canoe wharf for reasons. I think one thing I'm going to do is we're going to say this Chinampa, it's not going to be made during this game. I think that's very, very clear. So let's reload this at this point again, and let's make another small change. So we have this set to getting timber, and I wanted to put in the well dipper up here, but I'm going to halt the well dipper. I'm going to halt these houses. I'm going to halt these 2 cotton weavers for now. I'm going to halt these 2 houses as well. And then we're going to come down here, and I want to change up the roads over here a little bit. This is going to be a mess, but we just don't have time to have it not be a mess. So I'm going to do this with the hopes that this porter yard will start actually supplying this war canoe wharf. That would be ideal. Wait a second. Oh, our prosperity is at 26 out of 35. Okay, yeah. So we got it up to 30 out of 35 last time. I think we can get it higher, but we just need to optimize that. So let's go through this again at relatively high speed. Let's get that all done. So this is now connected over here, and these weapons should hopefully be supplied. Okay, so we're now working on constructing these sawyers. That one finished, and that one finished. Okay, perfect. So now I don't really care about the order of these. We'll get those underway. These sawyers and this porter yard are not done yet. We need those to finish. Specifically the porter yard. Still not done. Okay, the sawyers are now done over here. I'm gonna get these ready to go. So we're starting to harvest some timber out over this way. That's all well and good. Our levies were sent. This is very random, whether these things actually get built or not. As we go through this with the same inputs, we're getting different outputs. That's interesting. So the way that they prioritize this is definitely, at least in some way, randomized. Because this was definitely different before. That's interesting. And you can see that this time our prosperity is 25 out of 35. So it kind of feels like we just need to get the right random seed. That's... I don't know about that. I don't think that's great. Goods have been stolen from a porter yard. Okay. So, an invading army out over here. That's noted. We'll get our troops out over here. But taking a look at what we've got going on here, yeah, this is... We don't have a lot going on over here as far as these constructions go. Oh, we defeated the enemies. Cool. So we'll disband our troops then, and have them head on back. But of course, levies not received. This time we're only at 27 out of 35. So that's fine, but we're going to get kicked out of here. So one thing I want to do is I want to load this back in again. We're going to load this one, and we know that we wanted to halt these houses. I'm going to halt these two as well, and I'm going to halt 2 of these blade nappers. I want to make absolutely certain that we get the high priority structures finished as well. I'm going to halt these as well. And then we're going to come down here, set this to getting timber until this porter stop is finished. In theory. Hopefully it actually gets finished. But there was something else that I wanted to do to address the prosperity. And I want to see if our exports here, this is weapons, I want to leave that where that is. And I want to max out the cotton here. So no other sizes there. Max out the pottery here. And actually max out the pottery and the fish. So something like that. Okay, that looks good. Down over this way, cotton exports, that can definitely be maxed out. Just to make sure that we're exporting as much as we possibly can, right? That would be the idea. Okay, now we need to do this road again, and I'm going to make a save here to not have to go through this section again. So we'll do that. We'll make a save right there, and let's see if these actually build in the correct order. Okay, we'll put this on like 5x. Cool. Okay, so the sawyers up over here have been started. Hopefully they'll get built soon. We're waiting for this porter stop over here to get built. These sawyers are now built, so that seems good. I'm going to enable 1 of each of these. We're still waiting for this porter stop to be built here. Needs 39 timber. And we're still waiting on this Sawyer up here as well. Okay, this border stop has now been built. I'm going to move this back over to accepts timber. Cool. And we're now going to not enable these just yet because the Sawyers aren't built yet. Now one Sawyer is built. I think we do need to enable these houses. Okay, so something kind of like that. And we can see our prosperities at 25 out of 35 right now. And we know for a fact that profit and loss is at -5. So if we just flip that to +5, we're there. As far as the war canoes lacking weapons go, I hope that we have weapons actually get delivered here. We'll see. So for now, this is looking relatively good. We're still waiting for some of this to get finished up over here, but it doesn't really matter the order over here anymore. So we'll continue to work on that. That looks good. And this flooding over here does, I think, slow down our movement, so that's not ideal, but it just kind of is what it is. Levies have been sent, sure. So what other changes do we think we could make here in order to make this actually happen? Well, I'd like to see them actually build this stuff out over here, but they don't seem interested. The supplies are right here. They've got timber, they've got clay. This just needs clay. We've got 40 clay here. So they could build this common home. They could build this common home or at least deliver the clay for it. And this Sawyer up over here still hasn't been placed even. So yeah, that's a bit of a thing. So levies are returning, that's fine. We're definitely in a situation here where if we were just allowed to run out the clock, we would get there. And that's what I find kind of annoying about these campaign missions is the way that the clock works and the way that the prosperity calculations and such work and the way that job prioritization works, it makes it very difficult to actually adhere to the clock because we have everything that we need. We just need it to happen in the right order. We need these weapons that are currently not here, but there are 7 out of 40 weapons here, at least. We need these weapons to be delivered. We need these structures to be built. We've got 613 timber in stock. So we could maybe move some of the timber from some of these other locations that don't exactly need it right now, but I don't even know where the timber is. There's a decent chunk of it here for our tribute, which maybe we don't care about our tribute. I mean, we probably don't, do we? Let's get that moved out of there and move to somewhere a little bit more useful. Enemies are on the march, and that is not at all surprising. Okay, envoys have arrived, sure. So the timber and the weapons get moved. That seems fine. Enemies are invading on this side this time. That's unusual. Okay, so we'll get all of our forces down here. They're probably going to destroy our Sawyers that are over here. And kill a bunch of our traders, because this is our main trade route. Okay, get up here. There we go. So they have been defeated, and we'll disband that. So now if we look at this, we're at 27 out of 35, right? And we're still waiting for some people to move in up over here and start work on being cotton weavers. We're still waiting for this blade napper to get built. This Sawyer did get destroyed, as did this home, which isn't terribly surprising. So we can replace those, but I mean, again, we're basically, it really feels like we're just waiting for the right RNG seed to have what we need, right? That's really what it feels like we're doing. So we're at 27 out of 35. It's just RNG whether this goes up, and it's kind of RNG whether this gets delivered or not. But I do want to try completely turning off our tribute from this save. So I want to see what that feels like. So if we go into here, turn off our tributes, and also turn off our Empire service. Maybe we no longer care about any of that. Okay. Let's see what happens if we do that. Anything else that we need to change here? I don't think so. Okay, so let's just cruise on through and see what happens here. Now, we're making some progress up over this direction, in theory, but this does mean, because we're not going to be tributing, that we're going to have more weapons and we're going to have more timber. So that will definitely be a very good thing for us. I would love to see these actually get built up over here. And I'd love to see these get built. It has not yet happened. Oh, our well dipper isn't here. We'll get that in there, but that should be paused. Okay. So that's fine for now. This Sawyer is now built. I'm going to enable this home. So that looks okay for now. We're not building these Sawyers for some reason. That was, I think, a big pottery export that just went out. So that's good. We'll wait for them to come back. Okay, so this Sawyer is now built as well. We'll get this going. This porter stop, not yet. We're waiting on stone for that. Levies have been sent. Where? We just disabled all of our levies. Okay. Well, that's reasonably fine. Our prosperity is at 26. We're still not building these Sawyers. We've done no work up here. So that's definitely a thing. Again, it feels very random where they decide to actually put their focus. Very, very random indeed. So we're now having 2 that lack weapons. So that is... Well, weapons have been delivered, at least in part, down here. So that's definitely helping matters down this direction. Weapons being delivered, sure. But we're not getting anything done up this way. It's very, very strange, for sure. So enemies are on the march, sure. That's absolutely expected. It feels like it's too late to get anything done here at this point. So let's reload this. And what I want to do is I want to simply put in the well dipper right here. But we're going to halt it. We're not actually working on that. I'm going to make a save again. Yeah, we just need to save this session. That's fine. We're just going to save that, and let's proceed, and let's see if they actually build the Sawyers this time. There's nothing else different here. Except, do we still have the tribute on? We do. Okay, so we're going to turn off the tribute, and actually, let's reload this one more time. Turn off the tribute from here as early as possible. Turn that tribute off, and then turn off Empire Service for all of these. Those are off. Okay, that looks relatively fine. Cool. So we'll proceed forward and see if anything actually gets done over here. We're making some amount of progress, I feel like. Are we exporting timber? We're accepting timber here. I know we were exporting timber at some point, but I think we turned that off. Yeah, that's turned off. Okay, so that seems good. It just feels like we're making so much less progress up here right now. Even though we should have more resources available. We have finished up this Sawyer, so that's, you know, something. Let's get one house going over here. Maybe it's a lack of workers in this area, but I don't think that should be the case because we do have these common homes not entirely full, although they're kind of close. And maybe if we don't halt these, I don't know. So our Imperial levies have been dispatched, sure. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like nothing is getting done at this point. These Sawyers are now completed, but we're getting very little done up over here. If we were to turn these on and this out over here. Yeah, we're actually working on this. So we're not working on these up here, although we have worked on them in the past. And as far as I know, there's not really all that much different. So that's very strange, right? I think that's very, very clear that that's incredibly strange. But yet, I still feel like we're in a position right now where if the game were just to run a little bit longer, we would get there. Enemies are on the march, sure, that's fine. So what we come down to here is, I think, a fundamental disagreement that I have personally, and if you don't have this disagreement, that's fine. This is completely a matter of opinion. But this is a fundamental disagreement that I have with the developers of this game, I think, or at least the design of the campaign section. I think I would enjoy the free play section more than the campaign section, and we'll probably try that fairly soon. But the campaign section of this, I like the guided objectives and the storyline of it and such, but what I dislike is the hard time limit on everything. I feel like that's kind of antithetical to how city builders are supposed to work. And again, this is purely opinion, right? This is purely my opinion. You're free to disagree if you want. Let's get our troops rallied out over here. We know that that's going to happen. But this is where we end up with in a lot of these campaigns, a lot of these campaign missions, right? Where the clock is running down and we're there. We're ready to complete all of the objectives. All we need is for things to happen. And they're not happening. Like, there's a lot over here that hasn't gotten built. Oh, they're up over here. Okay. Get up here and fight them. Sure. So they managed to destroy a farmer's hut there. That's not a big deal. We can replace that. Where's our rally point? What? There we go. Disband that rally point. Okay, so we can replace that. That's, again, not a huge deal. They also destroyed a common home up over here, so we'll get that built, and we'll get a farmer's hut built over here. So our prosperity is at 27 out of 35, but look at just how much still didn't get built. It's kind of insane. So our prosperity needs to come up, and for that to happen, we need these to get built. If we had 6 additional months, I think we'd have this. We just need to wait for things to happen, right? And that's the place we were on the last one that we couldn't quite finish with the save that we had, and I kind of don't want to restart it. So I feel like we're in a position right now where we can just start playing like scenarios. Okay, these are definitely, this is kind of campaign mission-y, and I don't know if this has a time limit. We can look into these scenarios in the next episode. So I think we're going to declare victory on that one and be like, to be honest, we had everything we needed. We learned everything we needed to learn from that. The only thing that was holding us back was we just needed a little bit more time. And in city builders, time is the thing, right? Like, time isn't really that big of a factor in most city builders. This one's a little different on that front, and that's kind of the thing that I don't like about it the most. Some people, I think, would very, very much like that. I think they very much would. I'm not one of them. But I think next episode, we're going to dive into these scenarios and see what ends up happening with this. So I don't think we need to go through these tutorials. I feel like we're in a good state on that. And we can start running some of these missions down here. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.